Shalom. I want to start this off by giving honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakwatash. Peace and salutations to the elect men and elder men diligently pushing forth the will and doctrine of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To you I say Shalom. Worry about what your image looks like to the Lord, not to the world. Right? That's going to be the title of this lesson. Worry about what your image looks like to the Lord, not to the world. Right? And Lord willing, this be edifying, and Lord willing, this be, something that can exhort brothers, to not be fearful, not to be weak in the spirit, but to be strong, be secure, be confident, right? In your purpose, in your true identity, right? So that way you can continue to do what it is that we are required to do, the things that have been given to us as far as what our roles are to be, So jumping straight into it, this is Matthew 10 and verse 27. It says, "What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops." Right? So the things that the Lord shows you, the understanding that he gives you, because he's dealing with all of us, But the things that he gives you within the moments of your meditations, within these scriptures, right? You being a vessel for the Lord, you are to make it light, and on top of that, you are to or to better say that, in order for you to bring that light, you have to preach that word, You got to make sure that you're doing what it is that you need to do. And that is crying aloud, sparing not, lifting up your voice like a trumpet, Nobody realizes this is something that you can get for free, People are so worried about all the things that's going on around them, but this is something that the Lord gives freely, for those that are truly sincere, that are truly and sincerely looking to receive it, Ultimately, those of the Lord who are a part of his chosen, his elect, But the point here in verse 28, it says, "And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." You see, and the point of me getting this is to show there's a great significant difference, right? It's completely black and white, two ends of the scale, two separate ends of the scale. You know what I'm saying? As far as what the Lord is able to do to you versus what the world is able to do. Mind you, knowing the Lord is the one that has rule and reign over the world. So it only makes sense to be worried about how he sees you over how the world sees you. Because the Lord doesn't even esteem the wisdom of this world. So that should already tell you the wisdom of this world is only going to take you so far, But using the wisdom of the Lord is only going to allow you to be able to maneuver in a way to where you'll have success in the things that you need to, acquire or have or You know what I'm saying? Any of the things that you desire, that's like what it says in Psalms, you desire in the Lord, like he gives you your desires, roughly paraphrasing. But with you doing that, you're only putting yourself in a position for him to be able to bless you, for him to be able to give you the things that you need, for righteousness' sake, So, getting my next verse. Ooh, you know what? Gotta go here for this one. This is Sirach, right? The book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, verse 23, verse 19, it says, "Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts." You see? So you can't get it twisted and think that you're going to be able to do anything that the Lord not going to be able to see, that the Lord ain't going to be able to know about, He's got messengers going in and out daily. You know what I'm saying? On top of that. So there's nothing that can be hid from him because of how bright his eyes are to be able to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. If a room is completely, if something is completely like illuminated, right? So like 100%, there's no shadows, right? No shadows means no darkness. Nothing's hidden. And that's how the Lord's eyes work, And those eyes also going into the Lord's angels. So best believe he gonna have reign over what's being seen in comparison to the world, Because again, he operates being able to deal with that body and soul, you know what I'm saying? The physical and the spiritual, This is Amos chapter 9 and verse 8. It says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord God," right, being Yahweh. When you see God in all caps like that, when you see the Lord in all caps like that, that's how you know it's mentioning the Lord's name, right? So it says, "The eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord," right? Lord Yahweh. And this is important to keep in mind as far as why you need to fear, how you need to fear, Let this be that fire that's under your butt. Those of the sinful kingdom are also made up of our people as well, You don't want to be of that number, you know what I'm saying? You want to be numbered as one of the elect, as one of the Lord's chosen. And in order for you to do that, you got to be minding how and what you're doing, and if it's in likeness to his image, moving in a way to where you're not giving the Lord a bad rep. You give the Lord a bad rep, and you're doing it on purpose, knowing and choosing to do wrong. Yeah, all right. That's a dangerous game to play, The Lord's disciplinary actions hit way harder, than this world's. And what's crazy is the Lord will use the world as a part of his disciplinary actions, So you got to be real careful. This is Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 25. It It says, the fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. It says, many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. An unjust man is abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the ways, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. You see, and I want to get to in the NLT for that verse 25. It says, fearing people is a dangerous trap, but trusting the Lord means safety. You see, so you gotta trust in the Lord. Fear him and what he could do if you don't trust in him. But know that when you do trust in him, he only gonna protect you. He only gonna put his wings over you. You know, he gonna hide you within that strong tower. You know. But don't get it twisted. Just because you see that the world operates in the way that it does, seeking favor from a man, simply. You know what I'm saying? Though he may be a ruler, though may he have reign over the world that we in right now, he's still a man. And he's not an elect man. Nor is he a man that the Lord has ordained to be a part of his chosen. You know? That's why it says, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. You know? That's why you don't want to, what is it? The scripture that talk about not envying a sinner. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Yeah. This is Sirach 9 and verse 11. It says, envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. You see? Because again, it's all about trying to get to the end of the race, you know? And that that'll bring me to my next scripture too. Right? But finishing this point, because I'm gonna grab that next. Verse 27, an unjust man is an abomination to the just. Right? And the brother Padar had made a lesson as far as going into you know, the importance of brothers. You know, the title of the lesson was let me see, just want to grab it real quick. Yeah, Khan. It's the name of it. It says you wouldn't be anywhere without a brother. Biblical brothers, right? And that's very true. You know, because the Lord set up specific men. He set up a house. You know, He set up the church. And he set up the body, right? All those parts that make up all. You know what I'm saying? All those things that mentioned, the house, the church, the body. You know what I'm saying? All being of one, you know what I'm saying, is made up of biblical men, biblical brothers, you know what I'm saying, men of the Lord. So if you an unjust man, you're going to be an abomination to them. And if they moving like how the Lord are, and they in his image, you not getting in, and you not, you know what I'm saying, you can't get in the club, basically, you know, you're going to be rejected. But it says, but he that is upright in the way, but he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. So F the wicked, because it's all about being just. Now, grab my next verse. Just to hit that point real quick. This is Ecclesiastes 7 verse 1. It says, a good name is better than precious ointment in the day of death than the day of one's birth. And again, the point that I was making before in Proverbs 29 and verse 26, right? When you taking up to that judgment seat, you want to be in good standing to be able to get a good judgment, a good verdict. That's why it's all about how you finish the race. You might start and stumble, you might fall, but you still gotta get your ass back up and keep pushing. Because it ain't just the physical life on the line. There's more that come after that. Don't let this world get you confused thinking, shit's sweet. That's not the case. We know what's to come. So with us knowing what's to come, and if you're in a position to know what's to come, you better damn well be making sure that you on your shit, and you making sure that you doing what you got to do. There's requirements that come to this job, just like any other job amongst the world. If you're not fulfilling those requirements, you gonna get booted. You're gonna get fired. You don't want to get fired from the Lord's job. From our Father's business. You don't want to get fired from this. This is Colossians chapter 3, verse 9. It says, lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. You see, you put off that old man that was only worried about what the world can give you, never understanding, never really receiving or perceiving that it is of the Lord that you get an increase. And then knowing that, right? Basically being in the position to where now you putting on a new man, you knowing that the increase comes from the Lord, you're now operating in a way to where he's going to want to give you that increase, right? And with him giving you that increase, you see and understand, oh, this is how we are to move. Oh, this is actually how this works. This is the formula to get the right results. Oh, okay. The Lord just gave me the equation to be able to find, to get the answer. That's a part of his image, And that image is the elect, chosen man. We looking to get our minds right now so that way we can receive getting our bodies right, having it spiritually and physically, having these chains of darkness being taken off of us, Jumping to verse 12, it says, put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, right? And these are specific characteristics and traits, of the Lord's image, These are things to really meditate on. It says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Hamashiach forgave you, so also do ye. It says, and above all these things put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful. It says, let the word of Hamashiach dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. Right? These are all characteristics and things that you want to take hold of yourself. These are all the things that's of a new man. Don't go trying to entertain shit of your old man. Your old man is not the one that the Lord dealing with. You got to start over, like that little child in Matthew 18, you know, and then take on these characteristics, these traits. Right? It says, and whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to God Yahweh and the Father by him. You know? So, with all that you do, you want to be doing it in a way that you are paying attention to what your image looks like to the Lord and not to the world. Because ultimately he got rule, he got say over what happens in the world. You know? And it's written for those that are actually doing what the Lord wants them to do, that are actually pleasing the Lord, that are actually seeking to do the things that the Lord requires of us and wants from us. He gonna put that spiritual hedge over them. He gonna make sure that they got that shield. You know. You putting on how to say. I'm thinking of the armor of the Lord. You know, but you putting on, you know what I'm saying, the trace of the elect. You know what I'm saying, to say the least. So with you doing that, you're only putting yourself in a position to be straight, to be good, and to receive all that it is that you need to receive, right? Grabbing these last two, Colossians 3 and 24 says, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord. You see, with you serving the Lord and you looking to please him and you looking to live after his image, you gonna receive that reward, the inheritance. It says, verse 25, but he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of persons. You see, it don't matter if you of Israel, but are you the Israel, the elect, the chosen? That's what you gotta be mindful of. What is it that you're doing? How is it that you're conducting yourself, right? What is the purpose of what you're doing, the actions, things like that? You know, are you doing enough? Are you being stagnant, complacent? You know what I'm saying, or are you trying to move forward? Can you do more? Does it make sense for you to do more? Does it make sense for you to refrain? You know what I'm saying, or take a step back, right? Have you been doing too much, basically, being over righteous, you know? Or have you been going in a way to where it's leading you to be over wicked, you know, over much wicked, right? All things to consider, really paying attention, prove thy soul, proving yourself. Because you proving yourself to the standard of the Lord, you only proving yourself to the Lord to where then he gonna see, okay, he on top of his shit. Here, you know what I'm saying? Got you. Bam. Shield, hedge, blessings, benefits, inheritance. You know what I'm saying? All these things. This is Philippians 4 verse 6. It says, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. It says, and the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. It says, Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. It says, those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do, and the God of peace shall be with you. You see? So that should be comfort, knowing, right, with you going about to live your life in the likeness of his image, while making sure that you're paying attention to what your image looks like to the Lord, right? You're putting yourself in a position to be able to receive peace. He's gonna take care of you, you know? That's what you're able to see here, right? But you just gotta be mindful, and be considerate, be prudent, be circumspect, you know? Don't be careless, don't be reckless, don't just do shit just to do shit. The Lord didn't set us up to be like that. We do everything with a purpose, the right purpose, the purpose of pleasing the Lord. You please him, he helps you, you know? You help him, he blesses you. How do you help him? Profess his word, profess the knowledge that he gives to you, that you receive of him. You know? Take hold of all these different traits and characteristics, all these different scenarios that the Lord gives to us, you know? Take hold of those things. Profess them how you need to when you understand it for yourself, you know? And let me see. I want to read that also in the NOT. So it says, I'm reading it on my other phone. This is Philippians 4:6 in the NOT. It says, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Pray about everything. You see? It says, tell God what you need and thank him for all he has done. That mentality, that having that a part of your daily routine and doing that is only going to help you to be more considerate of pleasing the Lord. It says, verse 7, then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Hamashiach Yahushua. And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy to praise, right? All these things are just going to help build better habits, right? And with you getting rid of that old man, you removing those bad habits. Now you have something to fill those slots, fill the gap, fill those places, and it's going to give you it's going to give you that fullness, that sense of fullness that everybody in the world longs for but can never find because they're not going about it in the right way. They're not looking to make sure that their image pleases the Lord. They're worried about how the world is going to look at them, what their image looks like to the world and not to the Lord. But continuing, it says, verse 9, keep putting into practice all you learned and received from me, everything you heard from me and saw me doing. Then the God of peace will be with you. You see, put these things into practice, right? actually listen to learn, actually diligently read to learn and receive those things, take hold of those things, right? Make sure that they are maintained. Make sure that you sustain the things that the Lord gives you to obtain. Keep those things close to you. Have that be your treasures, And that's really it. That's really the point. So, Lord willing, this wasn't long-winded. Lord willing, the point has been proven. These are all definitely great scriptures to really, really meditate on, and that's speaking for myself first and foremost. Always to yourself first before the others, Make sure that you don't got that beam of mote in your eye before you try to, go help another brother. Because if you still got it, you might get both of y'all in a jam. Just something to be mindful.